And the more in relationship I can be as a leader and what's happening inside of me, then when I'm leading, I can be a different leader. But what so often happens is people override that part of themselves, the universe of ourselves, and then are overstretched, da 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 da, all these things. And then when someone walks right up in front of me, a human walks in front of me, I am not able to see them. I'm not able to be in relationship. I'm too busy doing.
Do you have a sense that something needs to change, yet consistently second guess yourself? On today's episode of That's a Great Point, we're talking divorce, grief, and leadership development with special guest Christina McFadden Arteaga. We talk about how often change is met with resistance because the familiar feels so safe. We also cover a wide variety of other topics in today's episode as well. Some highlights are increasing our capacity to be with whatever the world throws at us, being aware at the self, other, and world levels, what we can learn about ourselves from terrible sequels, the pain of shedding the old to make way for the new, and how holding grief together in community can change its weight or burden. Christina is CEO and founder of Blue Door Partners, a leadership development company. To find out more about her and her work, check out the links in the show description. As always, if you find our content helpful, please share it with somebody you love. Thanks for playing along. Enjoy. Welcome to That's a Great Point, the attitude adjustment for your soul, where co-hosts Elena Doran, Michelle Albers, and Lee Smart discuss deep topics around a life well lived. Let's start the show.
He is used to people jumping for him. I'm going to pick on him today.
Good. Bring it.
I like it.
I like it. All right. Let's make sure that we've got a lot of pressure on us. We're going to make sure that we get it exactly right, perfect. You know, if you mess up a little bit, it's all over.
There is no room for error.
I'm going to need more
information. This is how you all warm up. This is how you all warm up, is by inviting your saboteur. You invite your saboteur to the call.
That's
like
right.
Literally. You're like, okay, everyone, bring your inner critic. How old is yours? How old is yours?
Right?
There you go.
Bring your critic, have him sit in your lap.
Are you saying there's just one? Mine has several ages.
That's right. Well, that's fair. And usually there's one that's showing up in this moment that has age. I agree with you. There are multiple ages and they move around. That's fair. That is totally true. But I do like to play a game of like, what age is it right now? You know what I mean? Like, where are we on the map?
I like, it's like a 3, 2, 1 clench. Ready? Tense up right now and go.
I find it to be a fun paradox in that just naming it out loud with sarcasm allows it to relax and release.
It does.
I like that you all have I haven't heard Michelle's yet, but a relationship with your sphincter.
There's so much.
It's that perineum power.
Okay, we're back to that. There we go.
Oh, you've been here before, huh?
Oh yeah.
My taint sense is tingling.
It's not just for pregnant women massages anymore.
Apparently tanning that region of the body has
not tanning, sunning.
I'm sorry, sunning.
There's a difference.
You're right. You're absolutely right, Michelle. You're not. People aren't putting like tanning oil and tanning it. It's exposing it to the sun.
Yes.
Has been.
I mean, they might be. I don't know, but I believe what you were referring to is actually sunning.
It is. That is what I'm referring to.
It's a vitamin D overdose.
Like coming to you live from sunny Florida. That's all I'm gonna say.
What do you want to talk about today, Christina?
I don't know if I can actually transition from that because it is the big D.
You need a minute.
It is the big D. It is. It really is. It's pretty funny.
Perfect segue.
It really was. It took me a moment to figure it out, but it really was.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Do you want to say it?
Oh, sure. Yeah. Today, it's just around divorce and grief. Yeah. And we can joke about it. Let's make it. Let's design. We both get to cry and laugh about the topic.
Mm,
Yeah.
Is
That's
it?
the best way to heal.
It's the
Yeah.
best. It's the best way to heal. Character is forged through pain. Some can't have it without any pain, right? I know, and it's interesting as coaches, we often ask, well, how could this be easy, right? What's the easy version of this? What does it look like?
Oh.
And sometimes going through the pain and through the hard is the easy way.
Hmm. I had not thought about easy in this process yet, but I hear you. I think maybe because you're on the other side of it, Alina. So maybe you're like more like you're more like at peace. I'm like in the middle of it, so I don't have that same uh, wisdom that you do.
Well, where are you? Talk about, what does that middle look like for you?
Yeah, the middle. Yeah. Well, I was thinking about it before. Just I get to teach at the Collective Training Institute, and we're in the middle of redesigning the whole curriculum. It's pretty cool. And one of the things we're weaving in is this listening at the self, other, and world level. And I was thinking about like a year and a half ago, I actually had a voice that said, "You need to get a divorce," and I chose not to listen to that voice for like almost a year. And about 4 months later, my older brother, so the other, said to me, "I think you're going to get a divorce." And I was like, "Okay, yeah, I know." And then the world spoke to me. And Spotify does this annual report about how much you listen to music, which I had never paid attention to. And it turns out I was in the 99.5 percentile of listening to music. And I was like, oh, and I was self medicating with music. And that woke me up. It's like, I was like, that's a lot of music. So that was my journey of listening to myself and finding out. And where I am now, like 7 months later, I'm getting ready to change my whole life. Right, I'm going to move to. I live in the San Francisco Bay Area now. I have for over 25 years, and I'm going to move to New York City. And so it's a huge shift. And what I'm noticing, so where I am now, is I've moved 38 times in my life. I'm 51. I've lived in this house for 18 years. And I'm in the midst of crying every day as I grieve letting go of this home. It's really, like, it's interesting. So what I notice is the waves of what gets to show up, what wants to be processed. And right now it's letting go of my purple house. Yeah. And on a walk the other day, I just started to talk to it. And I asked it to help me find a place that makes me feel this safe for the next part of the journey, you know? And yeah, so that's where I am. I'm in that. And I'm about 30 days away from moving to New York. I don't know where I'm going to live yet. That's normal. That's not unusual. That's the normal part of the process. But yeah, that's where I am. And like I said, I'm here to both cry and laugh. So I'm okay with crying. Hope you are too.
Of course.
Yeah.
Absolutely welcome here.
Thanks. Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
The
It's all
statement, wherever you go, there you are, came to mind whenever you're talking about that.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts around that?
Well, it reminds me of kind of what got me here this summer was the beginning of the summer. I won't do details in it just for privacy, but I was having a really hard day because it's not just about me, right? I was having a really hard day and I just screamed in my head, when do I get the life? When do I get to live the life I want? And 5 very long seconds went by and the voice in my head very clearly, like the divorce voice, said, "You are living the life you want. It's just not happening as fast as you want." And then some more time went by and it said, "And you're going to miss this life when it's gone." So Lee, yeah, wherever you are, it's like the capacity to just keep listening to myself over and over about where I am. You know, they say that a butterfly, to become a butterfly, a caterpillar has to let go of all of its caterpillar cells and shift over to butterfly cells. And it is not and that's what I just try to remind myself. I am literally changing my cells to become a butterfly. And I make up this is part of life all the time. We're doing it in different phases and all those things. And to take this even like at a deeper, really deep level, in this journey as well, is like I've had these times of just feeling like I was going to die. And I'm not suicidal, like, I'll be really clear. But and I really want to say this out loud, I'm excited to say this to you all and to the world, is like, I was like, oh, I just want to die. And I realized, well, yes, because something is dying in me. And I thought, oh my God, all the people out there that have had that feeling of wanting to die, but haven't been able to distinguish the difference between the feeling that something's dying in me and being suicidal, because those are just different, right? And I was like, wow, and that's, I imagine what a caterpillar's going through is like a part of it is dying so it can fly, so I can fly. Yeah. And then let's tie this to leadership development, because that's what I do. Is it reminds me of this definition of authenticity, right? Authenticity, people so often think that it just becoming more of who I already am. And yet the more updated version, a woman out of NC Business School, she has this great video, happy to give you all the links so you can to put it out there in the world. Her updated version of authenticity is actually to go out and try new things, and in that process fail and learn more about myself so that I can become more of who I am. And that's what this journey feels like, Lee, to just answer like I am where I am. It's like I am in this process of getting to know who I am in this new place. Yeah, Michelle.
I didn't know that was there. Sorry about that.
What's that? Oh,
I had an alarm show up on my computer. I'm like, ah.
What do you think it means? Let's make it have some meaning.
Well, I have a question, and you can say no, you don't want to go here if you don't want to go here.
Let's go there. I don't even know where we're going.
I love that. You mentioned that purple house and how it feels safe, and you want to bring that safety with you.
Yeah.
I'm just curious about, like, have you ever sat and connected dots about, because it's not probably the walls that make you feel safe there. What is it within you that's connected with the space you're in that feels safe and comfortable? Like, what have you developed there? Because I feel like it's more about that connection than it is about the space. And then that goes with you when you go. I don't know. I'm just curious. When you said that, I was like, oh, I wonder.
Yeah.
Like, what happened in that space that developed a safety within you that makes you feel like there's maybe a little inside you that's afraid it'll go away when you move, but the reality is maybe if you can put some intention and I don't know, create some ease there for yourself to reassure yourself that you can trust that it goes with you.
I like you have faith in that.
Yeah. I get it. I've been divorced twice, so
okay, cool. Okay. There it is. There it is. Yeah. I was like, there's some wisdom in there for you, Michelle. It's so let's just check in that, Michelle. Like, how did you take that with you?
Well, I'm not sure I did, at least not with the first one. I had two kids and I didn't know a lot about myself at that time. I had uncovered some pretty deep trauma, and I don't know that I trusted anything, but I think when I started to feel safe, it was because I trusted myself. I trusted my divine, team. I had some trust that didn't exist before.
Yeah.
And where that came from was, time and support and, external support and internal support, but I didn't know how to do that for a long time.
Yeah. Well, and that's stages of adult development, right? Stage 3, we look for everyone else to figure out what they feel and need and base our decisions off of that. And I hear a little bit of that in your story. And that stage 4 is that ability to notice, what do I need, want, and think, right? So maybe just pulling it out a little bigger, my relationship with safety. I literally have a practice that when I feel unsafe, I just check in with myself and I actually tell myself, if it's true for myself, am I safe? I'm safe. And if I think about, the relationship with the house maybe is what shows up in me is moving 38 times is a lot of work, right? It's a lot of change. And I think there's the part of me that fear is that if I start moving again, I won't stop. Right. And I mean, and I travel all the time for work and fun. I mean, I'm on a plane at least once a month. So it's like I am on the go, but I always have a place to come back to. And when you move a lot, or, you know, I moved a lot, yeah, you get used to coming back to something that changes a lot. And there was something amazing about, for my nervous system, that just got to come back and back and back to the same place. Now, I think it's possible without that. I don't think people always get the gift of 18 years. So I'm not going to try to make that the answer. But it was one place for me to come back to. Yeah. Yeah.
What this is bringing up for me is concept, and there's a question in there swimming around in there somewhere, of finding home within yourself.
Mm-hmm. Well,
And
grief, one of my teachers says grief is a capacity, is grief is here to grow us. It's here to grow our capacity. And that's what it's doing.
and
Yeah.
it's a coming home. It's a homecoming to self, and in a way, a reintroduction to self. And then thinking about your friend's updated definition, there's almost a challenge to confirmation bias. So the old traditional definition is sort of that self-actualization. It's coming back to it's almost a static view, as opposed to this updated version is keep challenging, to keep putting yourself in new conditions
Yeah.
and see what's really true and see what's emerging. The idea that it is emerging all the time. And as we continue to test it and challenge it, you're activating it. It's almost like you're giving it the medicine it needs
Yeah.
to grow.
Well, yeah. And in improv, what we say, Patty Stiles, one of my improv teachers, talks about that in improv, and this is true for leadership development. It's like when you take a step onto the stage and you don't know what to do, the next step is to take the next step. Right. And it's that brave and that willingness to step into the unknown without knowing what's going to happen next, and trusting and having this capacity to know that when you take the next step, everything will show up. And it's like, that's why improv is so cool for that, because you actually get to practice it with your body and your mind. And in leadership development, it's the same thing, right? It's like no one knows what to do for so many of the things that are happening. And yet what we do is take the next step.
Every
And let
time.
it come together.
Every time. And there's this, there's this beautiful wisdom is encapsulated in the great movie Frozen 2. And the line that sticks out is, when you don't know what to do the next thing. Like, take one next step.
Aw. Which just reminds me of a funny story that has nothing to do with anything. Is my sister-in-law bought this Grease 2 soundtrack. This is like 20 years ago at Tower Records or something like that. And the guy that was selling it to her goes, this is Grease 2. And my sister-in-law knew it was Grease 2. She goes, oh. He goes, there's no returns. She really wanted to listen to Grease 2, but he judged her.
Oh, as opposed to, this is not Grease 1.
Yeah. I had no, so when you said there was a Frozen 2, that was my thought. I was like, I didn't know there was one past one. I don't have kids.
It's one great line.
Did you know that this is actually an inferior product to the original?
Is that what it's going to be like dating in the next round?
Did you want the refurbished version?
Did you know that they returned me and then I got updated?
Oh, there are so many mean, unkind
I didn't think that was mean.
Floating around the dating space and the dating app space. Like there's a mean one that's been floating around for many years of like, one person's trash is another's treasure. That is so mean, right? There's so many other ways. How about it just didn't fit?
Yeah.
How about like the square peg got tired of being shoved into the round hole, and it wants to live somewhere else.
Well, what I think about is like that inner child. Like, it's like those inner childs didn't play well together, but these two play well together. There's something really sweet about that. That like,
yes.
That like, two little kids didn't get along, but two other little kids could get along.
That's right. And it's not that either of the kids were bad kids. They didn't get along. They weren't compatible
or they did until they didn't.
until they didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's very
that was
sweet and
actually
tender.
coming up for me earlier. How much I'm privy to how much work you do on yourself, and it's easy to outgrow or grow differently, and you start to branch out. I remember DTK was saying when we interviewed him how much whenever Elaine started doing all the work, his wife started doing all the work on her. He went, "Oh shit, I better get to it. She's going to leave me behind."
Yeah.
Which he did. He did the work, and he kept up. But how much of that is here for you?
I did say that to my former partner. I did say, like, hey, like, you might want to catch up with this, that there's a lot going on. Yeah, I did say that at one point. Hard to know. And I do a lot of growing, like a lot. So yeah, I appreciate the reflection, Lee. And one of the things that in this part is I try not to make anyone wrong, right? And so I'm trying to figure out in my head right now how to make everyone right. Just because we're very friendly. We've been living together, in separate spaces, but living together. And I feel very lucky how easy, and that we still get to laugh together, and we're still friends, And I think that you can grow apart with personal development or without personal development, I think a fork in the road can show up for all kinds of reasons. Didn't Kermit the Frog and Fozzie, was it Fozzie, hit a fork in the road in Over the Rainbow? Like, isn't that part of the, oh, you guys are all younger than me.
I'm not. I'm older than you.
Oh, you are? Did you see that movie? I don't know.
Yeah, but it's been a hot second, and I don't remember movies well.
And I've got the immigrant thing, so I did not see it, Christina. I was not in America.
Oh, right. But you've seen Frozen too. You got me. See?
Yeah. I did because children.
I do like that you just complimented Michelle like that. That was very nice of you.
I got you by a few years.
Aw. That's hence your wisdom earlier. Yeah.
You don't get, well, maybe that's not fair. I was gonna say you don't get wisdom without a hell of a lot of pain, but maybe that's not fair. I don't know. 2 divorces taught me a lot.
Of course.
Which reminds me, I was in Florida giving a talk on resilience. And this woman, we just started randomly talking, at the conference. And she asked me, and I said, oh, I'm getting a divorce. And she goes, what number? And I was like, in my mind, I was like, this is such a Florida question. And 2, I said out loud, I was like, number 1, and keep asking that question forever. Like, that's hysterical. Which leads me to when I tell people I'm getting a divorce, what my experience has been is the amount of projection that people do, right? They don't actually know what to say. And I was thinking if I could retrain the world, because it's usually, oh, my condolences, I'm so sorry, or congratulations, right? Like there's this people, or is it, what is it for you? Like they don't know what to say. There's this awkward moment. And it's like, if I could retrain the world, what would I have them say, the next time someone says, I'm getting divorced? Because so often and I've never, I've not had a baby, but it reminds me of is like when someone steps up to you and puts their hand on your stomach when you're pregnant, like, it's just like people just get in your space, right? It's like, or they'll tell you about, and I was thinking if I could retrain the whole world, I would train them to ask a powerful question, like, where are you in the journey? How is it for you? Like, ask me what's happening, because so often it's the same thing with moving to New York City. I learned so much about someone in the moment I tell them I'm moving to New York City. Why? Or, oh my God, are you gonna miss trees? It's just so interesting, right? And it's that listening at that self other world level. Most people only know how to listen to self level. So
I think that asking a powerful question would be beautiful in the grief process too. I mean, there's so many things that happen where people don't know what to say. And it's like, well, what if you ask a question instead of projecting your shit onto me that I don't want.
Right. And
You
I
know?
would yes, and I would distinguish, ask a question for the sake of the person you're speaking to, not a
100%.
question for the sake of what I want to know, right?
Yeah,
Which is
yeah,
like
100%.
that's like the untraining of people.
Yes.
Nate, my soon-to-be ex-husband, that was like one thing that we would. It was a thing I would say to him all the time. He would ask me a question, and I would say, and he's in the quality, so he's always thinking how to make something better. And I would often say to him, "Is that question for me or for you?" Because I feel like you're asking that question for the sake of how to make this better, not for the sake of like what's here for me.
Right. Right. Well, that's,
Yeah.
letting go of the agenda, being aware that we even have one. And that's one of the many, many, many things I learned in coactive training. One of the many, many ways
Yeah.
to be is an awareness of, am I holding an agenda? Am I being a fixer?
Yeah.
Is being a fixer actually fixing?
Yeah.
It's not.
Yeah.
That was one of the many, that's one of the reasons that I chose CTI, Coactive Training Institute, instead
Yeah.
of other coaching schools, is because I saw that CTI would make me uncomfortable. It would
Oh,
stretch me
good.
and it would go against the grain and it would chafe and make me wiggle around and figure out what I need to do with that wiggle. And that's exactly what happened in the very first class
Oh,
in
that's
foundation.
so cool.
It's like, ooh, I'm squirming.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I was so accustomed to, and that was my role for so long, was Alina, fix it. We
Yeah.
don't know what to do with this, right? Like, there's
Yeah.
discord, there's policy ambiguity, whatever it is, right? There's like, we acquired a company, like, fix it.
Yeah.
People don't want to be managed, fix it. Fix me,
Yes.
fix this.
That-
And then if
it's
you're
the-
coming in, you're like, oh, there's a whole world where when we attach to fixing, we're actually making it not at all better.
Yes. It reminds me of two things. One, when I was teaching a class, because we are teaching you to not always problem solve, right? Because that's the thing and this woman goes, I just don't understand why I can't give solutions when I'm coaching. And I said, well, I actually happen to know the answer. Would you like to know? And she goes, no. And I was like, well, there's your answer, right?
You don't want to know. Yeah.
You don't want to know.
You're not a
And then
curious cat.
well, but she doesn't want help. Why are you going to help someone? Like, no, we
Right.
don't. We want to
Right.
learn on our own.
Right.
I forgot the second thing, but I had two things. It'll come back.
It'll
It's all
come
good.
back. So I'm curious, in that moment when the woman said, no, I don't want to learn. Do you remember what you did next?
Oh, the whole class roared because she literally was saying, I don't know why I can't help solve people's problems. And she didn't want her problem solved.
Probably
Right?
didn't even realize it, huh?
Yeah. Ooh, number two showed up. So, and this happened twice yesterday. This happens all the time. People are often coming to me to coach because they're feeling stuck around something in leadership development, right? And I had this twice yesterday where what happens in leadership development is we all get rewarded for that doing, Alina, like getting it done, solving the problem, right? But what happens if you're actually going to grow your career, there's a shift that happens where the being or relationship actually becomes as important, if not more important. But our brains go, no, this is how I'm rewarded. So they keep solving and they miss the mark because what's actually more important is building the relationships, the being, and that learning of that balance of doing and being is so interesting to me. And it is so hard for the brain to think elsewhere because it's that's how it's always been. And it's like, yeah, your brain needs an update. Like your brain actually needs to understand where you are in your career is actually shifting into being in a relationship. But I always like to say, like, I'll use any company at the time, but like, in this case, I'll use GE, like the CEO of GE, he doesn't actually know how to make a light bulb, right? The doing, but he knows how to lead people that do, right? He knows how to be in relationship.
That's
And
right.
so often this is just that crutch that people, it's a huge, and it's really interesting for women or people who have busy family lives because the doing is so on, right?
Absolutely. And the doing is something that can be verified externally, right? Like I checked that checkbox in that checkbox. Look at me. Look at how many checks I accumulated today,
Yeah.
and then there's a reward like good girl, good boy. Look at how many I am productive. And you absolutely.
We just all learned how you like to be rewarded, by the way.
maybe. And then you're absolutely in leadership development, and I'm working on multiple succession planning clients right now. Right? And so they're executives being groomed for CEO, 2 for CEO, 1 for CFO. And it's the same, very much the same thing. It's the doing becomes the being is the doing that needs some loving right now, right? Some attention. It's how they're showing up that is in the way. Sure, there might be an experience gap, right? Where you want to get to the next level, and maybe there's exposure to certain kind of work that you need, right? A skills gap. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's tactical, and that's more visible because it's tactical.
Yeah.
That's more prescriptive. Like, okay, go do that project, find work that gives you exposure to XYZ skills. But then the XYZ skills of the primary skills of being and how you show up and how you are relating to people and how you make people feel and what you leave in the room when you leave that room, that becomes the hard skill.
Yeah. Well, because you got to get out of your head and it's vulnerable.
Very squishy.
Yeah. Yeah. And any overused strength, right? Any overused skill becomes a weakness. And so what often happens is people, that doing is very narrowing energy, and that being is a wider energy. It has more capacity, more things get to happen. Right. And it's,
yes.
Yeah.
I love the statement, what got you here won't get you there. And what I've found out, whenever you focus on being, everything you do improves as well.
Yes.
It's phenomenal. The same exact actions done from an intent place of caring and compassion is going to have a completely different result of, I'm just going to get this done and get it out of the way. Right.
Because what you've just said has zero relationship with yourself, right? It's like that lacks heart. It's all head. And to grow, if you choose to, like only, not everyone gets to grow up the ladder of adult development. It's statistic, right? In the sense of not that you personally won't get it, but it's a choice to grow up it. Most people think they're done. I thought I was done growing at 42 until I learned there was actually a framework of actually there's stages of adult development. I was like, oh, really? You actually have to do more work to grow?
That's right. And that, you were talking about this, again, that overheating on the cognitive and forgetting that there's the rest, the being, the doing, the heart, soul, different schools of thought, philosophies have different names for it. It could be chakras or energy centers or different parts of us, different ways to name the same thing. That there's an integration of self that's part of the work as a grown-up that is not easy to do, and oscillating between the doing, on the ground, and the being, because there's a world where you can get stuck in the being and theorizing and over-indexing on that and not putting enough emphasis on the actual on the ground execution, right? Getting shit done, not just theorizing about shit, because that's very important. Both are very important.
Yeah, the integration of the brain and the heart. And I would also add, the body as well. And it was the other night I was sitting in bed thinking about something, worrying. And I said, is this coming from my head? And what would happen if I asked this for my body? And I shifted to that, and it changed the question completely. Right. The other thing I'll do is I'll say, if I'm worrying about something, I ask myself if I can catch it, right? Because that's the hard part, is to catch it. I'll say, am I tired? And if the question is yes, I don't get to think about it till tomorrow. Because the head loves to just groove in those insecurities, those thoughts, right? And that's narrow again. And if I can get into the body, if I can get it to tomorrow, it widens things. And I think that's what we get to do as coaches, is we're looking to help people widen the path to have more opportunity. Because when you make a choice from that, it has such a different impact than a narrow place.
Absolutely. For anybody who is tuning in, you talk about these two ways, and you make it sounds so simple, and that's the beauty in the simplicity. If someone wants to understand what is that like to check in with your body, what's the simplest way that you would share with someone, instruct them how they can go there?
Yeah. Well, it's interesting 'cause it actually brings back to the house as well. I would pick a part of my body to start, and I would have a conversation with it. Right? So let's just all try it. We don't have to say anything out loud, but let's all just pick a part of our body. And then from there, it's so funny. I wanted to pick a different part, but this part was like, no, pick me. So just to notice, follow that. And what's going to happen is your brain's going to do exactly what my brain just did. It was like trying to make it right. So just let go of that and actually just pick a part without making it right or wrong. There we go. I actually just switched to let myself have freedom. And then ask that a question. And whatever the question is, doesn't matter. It's just see what shows up. And again, we're all doing this quietly. And now you have your question or it's forming. Let it answer and listen. So let's all do that. And again, your brain's going to question it or try to make it right, but just notice what shows up and see if you can hear it. And don't let it have to make sense. And then as you land that, I'll share what happened for me. I went to, let's hear from my knee. And then my first chakra was like, no, let's hear from you. And then I was like, hey, what if I just let something show up? And it was my pinky. And then I asked my pinky, what do you want me to know? Or what do you wish for me? And she, in this case, said she wants me to experience desire. And I have no idea why that showed up or what it is, but that practice of just letting that show up and being with it. Because our brain wants to make it wrong all the time. So whatever experience you all just had, and maybe you want to share as well, it's learning to push through the brain, making it wrong, making it right, trying to get it right, and just letting whatever wants to show up, keep showing up and be in relationship with it. And that skill set to keep practicing that. I think Michelle in some ways was putting that to the house, right? I think that me noticing the grief of the house was the first step, right? And shifting into noticing safety, shifting into noticing what it makes me feel like, and then starting to be in relationship with the house and actually start asking it to help me, right? This is very abstract and strange, and yet it's all part of the process of learning to listen to what's really here, what really wants to support us. Yeah. Yeah.
So for context, I just left R3 last week.
You did, Lee?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know you were in leadership.
Yep.
Oh, that's the one that everyone got sick and you had to leave early, huh?
What?
Were you R3 in Spain or R3 in California?
Bend of Ivy in North Carolina.
Oh, North Carolina. Okay, the one in California last week, everyone got COVID. Well,
very nice.
Well, keep going, though. Keep going.
Yeah, well, so much of what you're saying reminds me of what we just picked up, being in tune to the field of what's here, right? Instead of trying to figure everything out and put our brain into thinking mode, is to let it take a back seat and just allow whatever actually is to be, and to learn how to understand what is here, what's going on with, Napoleon Hill calls it infinite intelligence. Some people call it the spirit world. It's this interconnectedness that we all have with all.
Yes.
And noticing what's going on and how we are of all and all is of us. So
yes.
it's pretty wild to use that awareness to figure out what's going on inside of us, what we're really feeling. I realized in doing all this, like my spot is in men's emotional education.
Yeah.
And this shit is like way above what most people are willing to even hear at the moment. So
yeah,
I'm curious how this being aware of the field, grief, and leadership development all tie together for you.
Oh, well, I'm going to tell a story first just because about the field. So I've been going on, I'm on a huge weight loss journey. You might know I've lost like over 100 pounds over the last X years. In the more recent time, I've lost about 85 pounds. And so I walk a lot. And in the past couple of years, I started finding money on a lot of my walks. And I thought, that's interesting. What does this mean? And I decided to let it mean that the universe is telling me I'm on the right path. So every time I find money on my walk, I think that, okay, I'm on the right path. And then I started finding like a lot of money, like $85 and stuff. And I started to feel a little guilty. I was like, I don't want to find people's lost $85. That $85 means something to someone else. So then I asked for a different sign. And then I started finding hair ties. And this grosses people out to no end. And I picked them up mostly. And then I was like, maybe not hair ties anymore. And then I started finding feathers. And then feathers were absolutely disgusting. And so I said, let's go back to hair ties. And then, and this is all in the course, like the past the money was for a while. In the past 6 months, it's been this other relationship, right? And it's kind of gone back to hair ties. And last night I was going to bed. I was thinking about packing for New York. And I'm like, when Nate and I moved out from Boston to California back in the late 1900s, my favorite thing to say, we used milk crates because that's what Nate had. He had milk crates. And every move we had in California, we used milk crates to pack. And I thought, what am I going to use for packing for New York? Am I going to use milk crates? I was like, I can't. The New York apartments don't have as much space. I won't have a place for the milk crates. I'll have to get boxes. And this morning on my walk, I saw a feather. It was just a 30-minute walk. I saw a really big hair tie rubber band. It was the biggest one I've seen. And I thought, am I going to find money on this walk? Like, is it going to be a 3 for 3? And I found a milk crate. And it was interesting because when I asked the question, am I going to find money on the walk? I heard in me, the universe couldn't line it up today. Because, they got to line it up. And I found a milk crate. And I didn't pick anything up today. And I thought, am I supposed to pick up that milk crate? And I said, no, that's just telling me I'm on the right path. And so, Lee, the universe is always talking to us. It is always there. And it is always on our side. Like, as humans, our birthright is to be in relationship with Earth and the universe. And that capacity to notice that that's my pronouns for the universe, is always got our backs. Now, it doesn't mean she gives me what I want, but she's there helping me find my way. And that milk crate, that is a giant message. I've been finding little tiny things, right? And I really did. I was like, so am I supposed to? And I was like, nope, it's just letting me know. It's just letting me know it couldn't get money out there today. It did. Yeah. So, and time. Go ahead.
The way that escalation went, I thought for sure you were going for chewing gum.
It already grosses people up. I pick up hair ties and put in my back pocket because I'm like, well, I've made it. That's what it means. But yeah, you're right. If I was looking under desks, maybe, but there's not enough. But okay, so the question was tying the fields to grief and to leadership development. Mm-hmm. I think that in leadership development, there is grief all around us. There is, especially in the world today, there is sadness everywhere. And how do I, as a leader, have capacity in myself, an awareness of my nervous system? The nervous system is basically an overseen organ, right? And so many of us are not listening because I think our nervous systems talk to us like the universe. Mm-hmm. They are letting us know what's happening all the time, what our capacity is, where we're at. And the more in relationship I can be as a leader and what's happening inside of me, then when I'm leading, I can be a different leader. But what so often happens is people override that part of themselves, the universe of ourselves, and then are overstretched, all these things. And then when someone walks right up in front of me, a human walks in front of me, I am not able to see them. I'm not able to be in relationship. I'm too busy doing. And so the practice, I think, and that's what the universe practice does. It slows me down to start listening to the universe, but it can also start that practice of listening to myself or being in relationship with. Mm-hmm. And grief is a cry for being in relationship with myself and also the thing I'm grieving. And to be with that, to sit in that and allow the waves to when they show up, to be with them. That's in relationship with the universe. That's that piece. And I think leaders, my wish for them is to build more capacity, more muscle around listening both to the universe and themselves so that when the human is in front of them, they can see them. because they already see themselves and they can already see the universe. And there's no way around that. You don't get to be a better leader if you don't see yourself in the universe.
That's so true when it comes to being a spouse, being a parent, being a boss, the works, all of it, being a friend. All of these things improve whenever we're more aware of what we have going on inside of us.
Mm-hmm.
Love it.
That's right. I was at a camping trip a couple months ago, and my teacher said, "You're pushing over your capacity." And I thought, well, that's weird. And then about 10 minutes later, I was exhausted and thirsty. It was hot. It was really hot. And so we were all breaking down camp. It was a big camp. There was about 80 of us. And about 2 hours later, I was doing something else, pulling a big wagon of heavy stuff. And I felt it in me. I was like, oh, this is my capacity. Like she had pointed to me so I could actually start seeing it myself. And I said, I got to stop. I'm gonna allow myself to finish this task, but then I'm gonna stop. And I got a chair and sat down. And I was like, oh, I know this place. I've been able to be here before, but because I'm in a group of people and I feel like pressure to perform, I overrode it at a cost. Yeah.
There's so
And it,
much there in what you just said. I'm wondering the grief that you've been experiencing this past
yeah.
year. How has it been changing you as a coach?
That's a great question. Give me a sec to think about it. It helps me see under things. I was with someone yesterday, and they wanted to talk about work, and we did. And I actually was like, there's something else here. This isn't it. And we got about 2 layers in deeper, and and it was something very different. And it was like a huge breakthrough because I'm listening for what's not being said. I'm listening for the thing that the person doesn't even necessarily know how to say to themselves because it's too scary. Because it's like me hearing the voice of, you need to get a divorce, and my brother reinforcing that, and still not being able to be with that information yet. Right. And then to be the coach, I'm being, I don't know, friend, but because I'm not necessarily someone's friend, but I am in that moment being the friend that can listen and hear underneath that. And I think that as a coach, I've just gotten the capacity to help people see things and hold space with them while they be with the thing that they didn't even know they had. They didn't even. I had someone say to me once. She goes, "I've always known that. I've never been able to say it out loud."
You're talking about making space, and I'm wondering, on the systemic organizational side, like how do we make space for grief in cultures that are obsessed with to-do checklists and productivity?
Right. Oh, great question. I think that it's that what we talked about, which is to not jump into listening to other versus self, right? So if someone tells me they're having something that has grief in it, instead of going right to how I feel about their grief, learning to listen. And then even if that's more bigger stage, learning to listen to the system, right? Listen to the world. And this is a new place for a lot of people to listen. So often we can only think about our own experience. And the next step is then to start listening to the other person's experience, or imagine what the other person's experience is. And I would name here that just because empaths, because a lot of people I make up that are listening are empaths, just because we can feel, and I'm an empath, what someone else is experiencing doesn't mean it's mine. That was a huge life experience of mine, right? Because I was like, I assumed because I could feel it, it was somehow mine to take care of, which is not true. That's that problem solving muscle, right? So learning to listen to myself, learning to listen to other, and even if I can feel it, it's not mine to be with, but it's there to just hold space with. And then there's this third entity or this third space of the system, of the world, the field. And tuning into this, let me think of how I might, from a leadership development perspective, it's learning to hold more than one thing is true, right? It's learning to hold what the system needs, the company needs, but it's also learning to be with the pain or the grief that might cause for others. And that's happening a lot right now in the work I do, right? Is understanding why the system is doing what it's doing or what it's doing, and that it also is not comfortable for everyone. And that's leadership. If you want to grow in leadership, you have to build that capacity to be with the discomfort, because the system does not take care of every single person. It's not the world we live in. The system takes care of the system.
Mm-hmm.
And that's true in nature as well, right? I mean, do you remember being a little kid and learning that animals killed other animals?
Right,
Like the
the cycle
system,
of life, right? The circle of
yeah. Like, but I just remember being a little kid and being like, that can't be true. Like, nature isn't like that. Like, nature is, no.
right.
Yeah.
That very again, it sounds so simple. Like, oh, you just have to learn how to be with grief, and be with agenda, quarter Q3 goals, and be with, maybe illness of a loved one, and be with project is, due on the 15th of next month.
Yeah.
Be with AI automation, eliminating roles, and I care about and enjoy what I do for a living.
Yeah. Holding multiple things is true. Yeah. How do you build your grief muscle? Let's go there. Let's brainstorm it as a team.
Yeah.
What do we think is how do we build the grief muscle?
This is Michelle's expertise here. I'm an expert in just that I've gone through it 1,000 times, but yeah,
Uh-huh.
Michelle actually helps others go through it.
Yeah,
So
we
how do
just
you
had a
help?
weekend summit
Yeah.
on grief and forgiveness. I think I think so much about grief is there's a whole lot of stereotypical or universal quote unquote truths that people think it's supposed to look a some kind of way.
Mm,
And I think when we really look, it's unique to everyone. Our littles get in the way because they're the loudest voice in the room because they have something to say about it. And I think what if it just is, and what if it's I also think there's an expectation for it to go away. And I don't believe grief or fear ever go away, but I believe it transforms. Our
mm,
relationship to it shifts. So when our relationship to grief shifts, like for me, there's a duality there. I get to be sad and in love at the same time. I get to be devastated and grateful. I mean, not in the same moment, but that's all part of my grief.
yeah.
And so to give myself an opening or space or ease or permission even to let it all be true, and to see how do I want to show up in that moment for myself, and what might I need, and who might be a helpful human to lean into, because I also think we also do all this alone because we're messy and we don't want to be seen that way. And it's like, yeah, but
Yeah.
what if somebody who really gets it can give you a nugget of wisdom that supports you in a new and different way, that transforms your grief into something that, like to Lee's point, when you asked your question, how does the grief help you in your coaching? It takes us somewhere good. It can. I don't know. I'm messy in it right now because I just did a weekend summit and we were all taken to our knees,
Yeah.
uh, and it was beautiful. I just think so much of it is unaware, and because I feel like we're really good at avoiding through logic, through busyness, through doing. And our littles are great at hide and seek, and if they don't want to be found, they won't be.
Yeah. It's reminding me of there's sometimes when I'm coaching someone and we find a pattern or a system that lives within me, I'll use first person, within me and the people that came before me,
Mhm.
right? And so what I'm noticing in me, I'm like, oh, and when we find that, what I do with folks is I say, like for me, I have a story that I have to put my nose down and work hard, right? And my dad's family is migrant farm workers, and so one of the things I've done in that work is to just notice that the people before me, they actually gave me that philosophy. And because they live that philosophy, I am here, right? And so as you were speaking, Michelle, what I noticed was I was thinking of my abuela or women before her or men before her in my line that have grieved. And because they have grieved, I am here. I exist because they went through their pain.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, oh, what a way to notice that I'm not alone in this. And that it's just a way to honor that the grief is, and I've chosen not to have kids, but I do know that any choice I make in healing of me will be passed on and has impact on the next generation.
And the one before you.
Yeah, and healing back, right? Seven generations back, yeah.
Yeah, we had already mentioned a little bit about why grief is so strong. We were talking about Frozen 2, Grease 2,
That's
and
right.
how being attached to what was and what could have been, and the loss of what was is so much around why we grieve.
And Grease 2 and Frozen 2, I make up, were not as good as Grease 1 and Frozen 1.
And would we think so if it wasn't for their predecessors?
Oh, huh.
Like if they were judged,
And
yeah, if they were judged only on the merit of how they exist on their own, rather than comparing to what was,
yes,
might be a
I
different
love that.
story.
That's right. And I think that really builds on what Michelle was saying, which is that when she said, my words, not Michelle's, my dyslexia doesn't always let me capture your words, but it's all, everyone looks different, right? The picture, the image it showed me was finger painting. Like that grief is this messy finger painting. Yeah. And that everyone's looks different. I really love that image. Mm. Well, grief is here. Do you notice it? Do you notice it's on with our call today? It's here. Yeah. I just noticed that. It's what I love about noticing it is it's like we're sharing it, and when you share it, it's like it has this capacity. That's why I love teaching, is because we're in a shared environment, and when we share something, it has a different feeling. And I'm just noticing that being with all of you in grief, it feels slightly different than being alone in it.
Can you say more about what feels different about it?
Well, do you notice it, Alina?
I do. I do. And subjectively, I have my own that I'm carrying and processing now with things that are very much on the front burners of my
Okay,
life. So
I
I'm carrying my own and I'm hearing yours and I'm feeling
yep,
empathy
yep,
toward you and what you've shared.
yep. Okay, I'm going to point you
And
somewhere different. Can I point you somewhere different?
please.
Okay, thank you for letting me play with you, because I know you so well. I want to push you. That is my style. I want to point you, if you're willing, to the collective healing. So not my grief, not your grief, but
Yeah.
grief is here. And like, here, let me just
Yes.
pull it back because it shifted a little bit. Okay, there it is again for me. And so just to, again, watch out, because your brain's going to try to figure it out, but actually just notice that there's a collective healing of grief here, like a relationship with grief. And Lee's he's in his head about it. What are you noticing, Lee?
Familiarity.
Ah, as you said that, the bayou showed up for me. Yeah.
Mhm.
What else is for everybody else? Let's just notice what's here. This is from the field, right? It doesn't have to make sense. What's here? Don't think too hard.
Well,
Just notice what shows up.
there's
Don't
two
and
quick.
do less sentences, Alina, and just notice the things that are showing up.
There's a shrinking. There's like a hugging it, right? There's seeing it and hugging it.
Yeah.
Those are
What
yeah.
else is here, team?
I'm seeing, those balls with the light in the middle and then it sparks out and then you put your hands on it and your hair goes up?
Yeah.
That's what I see.
Yeah. What do you see, Lee?
For me, it's a monkey on my back, and it could
Yeah.
be a comfortable backpack, or it could be riding up and choking me around the neck.
Yeah. And for me, it's let me find it again. It's this energy that's just, it's like nearby. But what I notice that when I hold it with you around, it doesn't feel heavy. When I notice the collectiveness of us and our relationship with grief, it shifts. That's pretty cool.
I think that's one of the magic pieces of healing that maybe we don't talk about enough. In that doing it alone makes it a million times harder.
Yeah. That's
Doing it
yeah.
in space with others. Yeah.
Yeah. I love what you're saying, Michelle, because last night I talked to both my mom and my aunt, their sisters, separately. And I told them both where I am in my grief. And yeah, I've told other people in the past few weeks, but it was interesting. When I woke up this morning, I felt so much better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also think speaking it out loud to someone else, I can't necessarily put my finger on what that does, but I do feel like there's some transformation that happens. I think there's something about hearing your own voice speak your truth or your bullshit if you're if you're lying to yourself.
Yeah.
Either way
Yeah.
though, I think there's something about speaking it out loud, that vibration into the universe does something that cannot, well, I don't want to say cannot because I don't think you have to speak it to make it happen. I just think that as a human, that might be one of the easiest ways to move that energy. Because I think moving that energy changes it.
Yeah. That's right. That's right. I love that. Hmm. Huh. What do you think grief wants us to do next if we just tap into her?
Be with it,
Yeah, she is lonely.
sit with it. Yeah, she's
Yeah,
tired of
she.
people running away from her. She feels
Oh,
abandoned.
so
Maybe that's more logical human thing. I just think grief wants to be sat with.
yeah, she's like putting her hand on my shoulder.
Yeah, like hold your hand.
Yeah, she's an invitation versus
Hmm.
something to be feared.
Hmm.
She's saying,
Wow.
see me, I'm here.
Yeah. And in that, in seeing her is seeing me.
Mhm. Yeah, well, I
It
mean,
also softens it.
Yeah,
yeah,
she did get a lot softer once we've made her name. But yeah, Goalie.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's a piece about appreciating because if we didn't care, the loss wouldn't hurt.
Mhm.
So there's a
Yeah.
deep sense of love and caring here whenever there's grief.
That
Oh,
second
she.
part came from your heart. That first part came from your head. That's how it felt. So I like that you continued on your journey of words there. That felt good to me. That felt like there was something there for me that was positive. Thank you.
Well, and that grief is love, and yeah, it shifted the energy, Lee. It actually it shifted it to almost more integrated with me, like that we are in relationship together with grief versus at conflict or at odds or even worse. Oh, it makes me so sad. Ignoring her.
Hmm.
I mean, the other ways at least she's in contact with me, but when I ignore her, she's starved, and she does turn into love when I give her attention.
Yeah, that's what I just saw. I just saw like grief hugging, and in that hugging there was like this, my words, Kuan Yin energy of compassion and love, and just that overwhelming sense of like the kind of love and compassion that you can't actually put words to. There's just an energy to it.
Yeah,
So where you're enveloped in it.
yeah. And then for me, it just another wave just came in that causes a little emotion, and like just not making that wrong, just being with and just noticing the grief just showed up, and then it's a wave. It just comes and goes. Yeah. I love that we've created the field of grief here and like this capacity for us as a group to play with her and to understand her at a deeper level. And I'll be curious when people listen or watch what they get to experience because they'll feel this too in their own way, right? Yeah. Oh, how beautiful that, yeah, it has a little more romance to it. I'm a romantic. Yeah. Oh,
Yeah, I think, I mean, take it or leave it. But like for me personally, this play with grief, I feel like that what I saw has now, like grief has become light, meaning light, not dark, meaning starlight or bright light, versus heaviness or light for me also equals transformation. So I'm not exactly sure what's happening in this conversation, but I have goosebumps and I see a lot of light, and grief feels like a hug versus a boulder. So that's pretty powerful.
Yeah.
It's amazing how much those two resonate so directly. It feels like a wave. It feels like a wave in an ocean to just rest in. That grief is not something to rebel, push away, deflect. It's just resting in it and being in it. And if it shifts you, right? When we rest our body, we float more easily. And
Yeah.
so resting in it and letting it move and letting it shift, and then it passes, and then something
Yes.
new emerges.
Yes.
And relaxing our body and being, just being, and letting that be enough. It's enough to just be, and nothing more is required of us.
Yes. I love that. And, it's the image is beautiful. And also the sand is smooth again,
Yes.
right? The sand is smooth again. The other thing that showed up in me from both of you was to say to grief, and I'm just going to bring her forward again. And she's changing as we talk about her. I'm going to say, I'm on your team. Oh, and she loves that. And I want to ask her to say it back to me, that she's on my team. Yeah. We have each other. Do you feel that? The love? Yeah. It's pretty cool.
That was a good exhale.
Yeah, I was like I heard that, like, ooh, what
felt
did
that
you
one.
just exhale?
I was like, oh, I think we're done. I think we found our place to end.
Yeah,
And
it's really
also-
funny. I was about to remind you of the arcs in R3.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Also, it's 10:10 where I am, and you said I think we're done.
Is there a milk crate nearby?
No, but I haven't taken a walk yet.
Oh my gosh, if someone else finds a milk crate on a walk, please find me and tell me on LinkedIn, because I just have to know there's other milk crates on walks.
I have a bunch in my shop, so it's not that difficult for me to find them.
Maybe people will just start texting me pictures of milk crates. Like, you're on your way, Christina. I know you're on your way. There's a milk crate right here.
That's
Well,
right.
there you go. All right. Well, Christina, one of the things I love about you, experiencing you lead as an assistant, was how you shine very brightly. And in doing so, you don't put out other people's light. You help them shine more brightly to join you. It's kind of magical to watch. So I do appreciate you. And it's been a wonderful conversation today.
Thanks, Lee.
Thank you for joining us. What a treat.
Yeah.
Thank you. It was lovely to meet you. I very much enjoyed our time together, our energy exchange together.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. I mean, let me find what's in me. Thanks for letting me find a deeper relationship with grief with all of you and with her. And thanks for having me so I get to share where I am and what's happening, because I make up, and my hope is it gets to help somebody else, because that's always the hope.
Mm-hmm.
So I appreciate all three of you. Thanks for what you're doing in the world. And I make up that you'll be dirtier with someone else. I mean, I usually am, but today it wasn't there. Big love. Thanks.
Thank you.
No.
Okay. Love you. Bye-bye.
Love you. Bye.
Thank you for listening to That's a Great Point with Elena Doran, Michelle Albers, and Lee Smart. To find out more about how we can serve you, check out our links in the show description. Thanks for playing along.